Willie, mercy, baby. This is Shaska Willie. You're listening to Broken Kayfabe with Frankie Seabreeze and Ariel Bologna and Cheese Sandwich. They're like Coca-Cola. They're all over, baby, on whatever network that you find it on, baby. This is Navy SEAL Body Guy, and you are listening to Broken Kayfabe with Frankie Seacrest, Ariel Agbalog, and the Brothership. Now that half-wit, Shaska Willie, better not step on this, or I will step on him, Jack. This is Redneck Steve. You're listening to Broken Kayfabe with Ariel Agbalog, Frankie Seacrest. Flap their gums about anything that they want, putting some steak on it. Oh, hell yeah.
Welcome to Broken Kayfabe, the unofficial after show of Broken Kayfabe with Baldrin and Barry. Ariel, I know it's boring, but I'm going to say it anyway. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up? Okay, never mind.
Oh, that was great. That was wonderful. That woke me up. You know.
I'm sorry. Was it too loud?
No, that was perfect. That's what I needed. Let me just apologize. I'm a piece of shit, and I just fell asleep. Even though I am homeschooling my daughter right now, I fell asleep. Yes, in the middle. But my excuse is that I fell asleep because my dog, Maxie Paws, the old one, woke me up at 1:30. So I've been up since 1:30. I got like 2.5 hours of sleep.
Wow. 1:30 was my lunchtime at work. Ooh. At least you got to sleep. you got to sleep later on, right? I haven't slept yet.
Oh, man. Well, good. You're running on that Cuban coffee over there.
Yep. And Colombian gold. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't do that shit. No.
Oh, man.
I'm caffeinated. Actually, I have Folgers running through my veins right now. I drank coffee when I came home from work this morning.
Yeah, watch this. The best part of waking
up is Folgers
in your cup.
We're gonna get sued.
What? For giving them a free plug? Come on.
Yeah, but because they're not sponsors. We should get Folgers sponsors, actually.
Oh, man, I'd love if somebody would sponsor. Actually, I'd love if somebody would listen to this podcast. But anyway, I digress.
You sound tired.
Oh, bro. You know what? I have recorded this week. We have an exciting interview. I won't say who it is. But for this episode, we are going to talk about the scrum. And we have part 2 of my conversation with the Brothershippers Jason D'Agostino, Michael Herrick, and William Meriwether. Right? Is that who's up now?
I don't know. You're the one that conducted the interview.
I don't know who's next. I don't know. Anyway, I think part 2 is this week. Right. Anyway, Ariel, let's talk about this media scrum, as it were.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about it. It's been the talk of the wrestling world for just about this entire week, basically. Yeah, what did you think about it? I mean, yeah.
I ask you first.
Okay. Well, let's let the people know that, don't know what happened during the media scrum or who was involved and whatnot,
Okay. Well,
paint a picture.
There was a scrum, which I still don't know what that is. A scrum, it was, I was
going to ask you the same question. I was like, what's a scrum?
Well, it's a media thing. I don't know what the actual definition is, but it's a bunch of media around asking questions It was as a framework for project management. Okay, I
You
don't
took
know.
the first definition of Scrum you saw when you Googled, because I read the same exact thing just now.
Informally, it means to jostle or crowd.
Oh, this one's scrotum. Wrong one.
The origin is English for scrimmage.
Well, anyway.
So after all the AEW pay-per-views, they have the media in there, and they do interviews, and the media asks questions, and CM Punk sort of went off, and then there was a melee. How's that definition? I mean, how's that description?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Good.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
Apparently since then, titles were stripped, people were suspended. I don't know what's going on, who's telling the truth. I'm sure, the truth lies somewhere in the middle, because there's always 2 sides, 3 sides of every story, right?
Hey, very good.
Like that.
Very good. That's what I always say. And it is person 1 side, person 2 side, and then there's the truth.
Right, exactly. So I'm more concerned about Larry the dog, if he's okay. And I just found out Larry was CM Punk. It is CM Punk's dog. I'm looking at the some of the Facebook posts in the group, and they're talking about Larry. I'm like, this is Larry. This is Larry. And then I see a picture of Larry, and I'm like, that's a dog. And then I remember CM Punk mentioning his dog during the scrummage or whatever, the scrum. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah,
what did he say about Larry during the scrummage?
That he couldn't walk his dog. That's all I could really remember.
Okay.
Because of his foot.
Okay.
Yeah. So the real victim here is Larry, because he couldn't get walked.
That's true.
Yeah.
A media scrum, according to Wikipedia. Yes, I know. It's not a valid source of blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it is an improvised press conference, often held immediately outside an event, such as a legislative session or meeting.
Okay. We'll go with that. Makes better sense than the scrum that we were looking up a while ago with the I don't know what it was.
Men's junk. Yeah.
That's the other scrum I was looking up. Yeah, so like I said, titles were stripped. People were suspended. Do I think it's a work? Do I think it's legit? I don't know. Could be a little bit of both.
Well, if it is, it's kind of dumb to strip titles. I mean, right? CM Punk won the title and then didn't defend it, and they gave an interim to John Moxley, and then he finally he lost like in 3 minutes, won the second one, and so here he is. He won again, won the title, and then what happens? Now they stripped it away. I think this stripping and having interim champions is really dumb, and it's bad for business.
Yeah, but I also read that he got CM Punk is injured, I think, with a torn pec, similar to Cody, and that's probably why they stripped him. They held a tournament holding a tournament to see who's the next champion is. I don't know if it's interim, or just the champion. But
well, here's the thing: back in my day, they would have shot an angle, and somebody would have hurt him, and then we would have went from there. Or he just would have got in the ring and lost it like a champion.
Yeah.
Or there's other things that they could have done, but this, couple in a row of changing who's holding the title just based on someone being injured. I get it, I understand it, but there's other ways than to. Oh, it's held up.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And I mean, I think it was the next day. The next day is when they announced that they were going to hold up the title or whatever. Hey, they could have given it a little bit of time, but instead, and I mean, look, those trios, who gives a shit about that anyway, right? I mean,
Right.
it's like, man, I wook up grumpy, didn't I? Jeez, I woke up on the wrong side of the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, shit about it. I mean, there's so many freaking titles, and then you got Ring of Honor titles being defended on it, which makes it even more confusing. Is this Ring of Honor or is this AEW? So
Right.
so anyway, too many titles. Everybody gets a title. What's this like participation titles? If you get in there, you get to get a title, please. You know, and second of all, can we not just be professional? I know it's professional wrestling, but let's put the professional back in professional wrestling.
Right? I mean, nobody there is acting professional. Tony isn't. CM Punk certainly wasn't. The EVPs weren't. I mean, we don't know the entire story. We don't know the truth or anything about that. But whatever's coming out now from the dirt sheets or the wrestling news reporting, whatever, it's painting everybody, the entire company, in a bad light, you know. And I don't know what's up with Tony. I don't know if he has like the guts to put his foot down and actually run his company like a boss should, instead of being like a buddy to everybody else. Maybe he is. I don't know. I'm not there to see what's going on behind the scenes and everything like that. But initially, it just sounds like, or it looked like, AEW was a complete amateur bullshit thing going on. You know?
Well, yeah, and I mean, these are guys who are making good money, so they should know how to act. CM Punk, I'm talking to you.
Right.
You should be. Look. You know, week one, Tom Brady's not going to go out and challenge some football team he's not even playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not, if it's not in his cards to play the Steelers at all this year, and there's no chance of him playing the Steelers except in the Super Bowl, he's not going to go out there and say, well, you know, next week I know we're playing the Jets, but you know who I really want is that piece of shit Steelers. Right?
Yeah.
That's my point. People shouldn't be out there cutting promos or throwing people's names in there of people that they don't have an intention of being in the program with.
Exactly. No, yeah, it's just a big mess right now, and I don't know. I found it hypocritical that, you know, during Punk's scrum interview, saying, you know, the grass is only greener, or, you know, where you water it, right? And he said something about MJF shitting where he eats. Punk basically did the same thing. He shat where he, going off on people like that. And yeah, it was just kind of weird. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the near future, if anything. If anyone else gets fired after the whole thing is over and done with. I mean, fuck, I don't know. It's weird.
You know, I'll still root for AEW. I mean, I don't watch it anyway, so it gets any skin off my back. But, you know, yeah, Tony Khan needs to stop fanboying it a little bit.
Right.
And yes, he does need to put the hammer down, but you know what? It's actually who's got more experience in the wrestling business, all of these other guys than Tony Khan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I don't know.
And I don't know. I'm hopeful that after somebody says something or goes off script or whatever, Tony says, "Hey, look, you know, I'd appreciate it if you don't mention other people's names that you're not going to be in a program with, because, you know, the people don't like that crap. So, you know, or it confuses the marks because they're dumb. Whatever, right? I'd hope that he would give them some feedback on it, not just let it be World War III, or, you know, do whatever you want or whatever you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that proves that he needs more experienced people on instead of having, talent that's already or EVPs that are talent that probably have no EVP or any kind of experience behind the scenes or in an executive role. You know, you should start going out looking for veterans that can help book, can help manage the back and the people there and all that stuff. I mean,
Well,
it's out of
that should
control.
be that should be CM Punk.
Yeah. Well,
It's my opinion. CM Punk's been in the WWE locker room, so I think it should be him. I think he should be Jericho. A bunch of those names. And here's, let me pose this to you: why was like Pat Buck, Michael Nakazawa,
Chris Daniels,
all? I mean, what did they do?
Right, exactly. A lot of you see their names being on the suspended list, but you never, for me, I haven't read anything about their involvement. It's just all Young Bucks, Kenny, CM Punk, Ace Steel, right?
Yep.
And what were the other suspended guys doing or not doing or whatever? See, there's so many things about this that sound kind of bullshitty or shady, to say the least. And it's, I don't know. It's
it's just because it's wrestling. Yeah, that's what we expect.
That's what makes it hard, because it's wrestling. It's the wrestling business. It's like, well, fucking carnies are gonna carny, and if it's like partially true and or partial angle, and I mean if it's an angle, it doesn't make sense right now, but I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird. What a weird year for wrestling,
That's true. That's true.
Ooh.
Well, Ariel, I think this is a great time for us to go to our conversation that I had with three of the most handsome men in the world, let alone the brothership that is Jason D'Agostino, Michael Herrick, and the 7-foot-tall William Meriwether. About some stuff. William, I gotta say, William does art. His freaking haircut looks like what I would expect an artist to have. I mean, seriously, you're. I mean, it was crazy when you turned to the side. I was like, that's like, it's like in college, right? You get the person with the stylish haircut who they don't even try. You're like, God dang, dude, how do you walk? How do you get up and your hair just looks that good, right? It's like, that's your hair. I mean, it looks like your haircut looks like what an artist would have, and it's just like, they don't give a shit, but they just it's just how it is.
I have my pubes shaved in the bat symbol, but I'm not going to show you guys. I'm just kidding. I use a lot of conditioner, so it just sticks up on its own because I get bad dandruff if I don't. That's my secret.
Profiling.
Beauty secrets.
But sometimes it's like, if you know something about someone, you go, oh yeah, that guy looks like a computer programmer. Or, oh yeah, she looks like what I would expect an attorney to look like. And it's like, now that I know you do art, you're an artist. That's what we call people who do art. We call them artists. Your damn haircut looks like what it would be and then plus you have the black rim glasses. I mean, you're an artist.
I had a clear frame last time, but my family thought it was really funny. He was like, "Oh, you have pedophile glasses, Dad. You have pedophile glasses." So we're always in roast mode around here. We gotta keep sharp because it's roast mode now.
Man, families.
Jesus, that's savage.
Yeah, that's how they roll. So I went back to the black frames, so they'd shut up. Nah, they were cheaper. They were nice. I don't care what they think.
Good Lord.
Shots fired.
Back to the discontinued items. We talked about a couple of them: the chili cheese burrito, the Mexican melt,
Yep.
the chilito.
Does anybody remember the fajita wraps?
At Taco Bell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would have been 95, 96, 97, somewhere in that range. Because that's about the time we got our Taco Bell here in town. And I remember waiting in line for an hour when our Taco Bell opened. And it wasn't too long after that they had these fajita wraps. My mom still asks me, does Taco Bell have those fajita wraps back? No, Mom, they're probably never going to have them. They had them that one time 25 years ago. They're not coming back, I don't think. But they were good.
Taco Bell's the worst offender for that stuff. They were so weird. They switch their menu up all the time and dangle. Like the Mexican pizza is a good example of,
Yep.
We'll get it to you for a little while and then we'll dangle it and then we take it away and it's like, Taco Bell, quit messing with our emotions.
Exactly. Do you remember?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was saying the other day in our chat that I miss the gordita.
Yeah.
I don't want the gordita crunch. I don't want the chalupa. I want the gordita because I thought
Gordita was
structurally it was perfect for the amount of stuff Taco Bell puts in their taco.
Yeah.
You should be able to order it. I mean, they have them physically in the store for the gordita crunch.
That makes sense.
So there shouldn't be any reason why they couldn't make you one.
Just take
That's true.
You need to go inside the store, let them see the sexy Conrad look. Be like, hey, listen, I need 2 Gordita Supremes. Make that happen for me.
I'll hook you up with some Blue Chew.
Do you
Your
remember
old lady will be saying "Roll Tide."
Gonna reverse her mortgage.
I'll reverse your mortgage. Oh, do you remember the bacon cheeseburger burrito?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no.
It was fantastic. It was a bacon cheeseburger sauce. They also did tacos, and there was something else I don't remember. It was another thing in the mid-90s they had just for a short time. It was unbelievable. I mean, I think there was also maybe some crumbled bacon in too, but the sauce was what made it.
Mm.
And they were fantastic. And the other Taco Bell thing I miss is the Southwest Steak Bowl. I know you said they have like a burrito bowl now, but this had the good orange rice, as my daughter calls it. Do they still have the good rice? No, they don't have the good rice, the orange rice anymore. But it was that, beans, steak, and I think it was the chipotle sauce that they have. And cheese. And it was fantastic. I used to go when I'd go do my cheat day 20 years ago. That was my cheat day thing. I'd get a couple of those and maybe a couple of other things. And I'd been out drinking, and it was how much of this can I eat before I pass out and get up and go to work the next day. I never would make it through everything I'd order because I'd just order what sounded good because I'd eaten Subway all week.
Oh, you're to the Subway diet.
Yeah, and it worked. I mean, I lost 50 pounds in 3 months.
Lord.
Doing that. But I was also just strictly limiting myself to like 20 grams of sugar a day and 20 grams of fat. And, you know.
Did it get easier at all from when you started to the end?
Not really. I mean, it was just a willpower thing. I had to make myself do it. And, I mean, it worked, but it was miserable eating the same, because I eat the same thing every day. The roast chicken sub. I'd buy a foot long at lunch, and then I would have half of that and a bag of baked Lay's for lunch, and the other half and a bag of baked Lay's for supper.
So I was telling Shannon today that like I feel like what we're doing was getting easier.
Yeah.
And but then I saw my daughter's 2 breadsticks laying there that she didn't eat. Dipped those babies in some ranch and tore that shit up.
Tempting you. Breadsticks are the evil temptress.
I may have said on the chat earlier, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating a story, but it's kind of funny that the other day I may or may not have been high on marijuana, allegedly. Who knows? I don't know. It's pretty true. And for some reason, I thought it was a good idea because they wanted pizza real bad. And usually I'll just get chicken wings because I don't really eat the carbs too much anymore. But I was like, you know what? I'll get a supreme pizza because that'll have all the vegetables and stuff on it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and, you know, my wife's effectively like, well, you know, if you get that, it's after I ordered, of course, she's like, it's pretty much your own pizza, right? I'm like, oh, shit. Because it's like a whole, you know, large pizza full of crust. So I talked my daughter into eating some of it. But, you know, over the last 2 days, I ate a whole large pizza with everything on it. So, you know, kind of screwed up the diet with that. But at the time, it sounded like it was a great idea because all the vegetables and
Sure,
stuff.
sure. It sounds healthy.
Yeah. Oh man, at Aldi's we got a cauliflower pizza the other night. Jan and I got it, and we got the kids a regular, and $7.50, and so you split that in half. It was absolutely amazing. Like I could not taste the cauliflower at all. It tastes like a regular pizza, so it may have been. I don't know.
No, it was. Their cauliflower pizza is
They're
good.
really good, yeah.
Yeah, it was like Mama Cozy's or something.
Yep.
I actually have one in my freezer right now. I just didn't think, you know, like I said, they wanted to order pizza, and I wasn't thinking.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah. We loved it.
And the cauliflower mashed potatoes ain't too bad either. I mean,
Yep, those are good.
yeah, if you do them kind of like real mashed potatoes, somebody was, you know, we're talking about with somebody, and if you put them with like butter and the salt and stuff a little bit and mix them with regular potato, not too shabby. You know, it's you know, nothing like the real thing, but they're not bad.
No, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, is finding like replacements for the things that you really like.
Yeah.
And I think when you can do that, you can go a long way. 'Cause that's what I did on Weight Watchers. The only problem is picnic food killed me with Weight Watchers, and I never was able to get back on the bus.
Mm.
And that's one of the hard things, you know, you fall off a little bit, and it's easier to go that way, especially if you're the only person doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I did that with keto, and I did it for 3 or 4 months a couple of years ago, and it worked. But fixing 2 separate meals, and you know, it was more expensive, and it was also, there were times it's just like, man, why don't I'm just going to eat what they're having. It's just easier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is more expensive, especially like getting the fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff. And you only last a couple days, honestly. I mean, so it's tricky. You got to suck it all in. So I kind of learned not to buy a bunch at once. I'd kind of binge, like, I got to get this, and this. It's good for me. I'll eat this instead. And then you're like, you feel terrible if you got to throw some of it away because you got too much. So I'm trying to like narrow it down.
William, you nailed it. I mean, that's what we do in our house. It's like we have to eat this like stat because it's all going to go bad. And we bought some grapes at Aldi. And 2 days later, they're starting to rot, and so I'm still in this mentality of not to waste anything, but also, you know, you got to eat it, right? So I'm eating these grapes that are falling apart in my hands, and Janet's like, I think we should just throw them away, and I'm like, I'm going to choke these things down, and you know,
not in this economy.
Yeah, you're thinking, man, these things are turned into wine. I'll probably getting like blitzed off of these things. Yeah.
Same say. I think it's because probably the way we grew up. You know, Frank, I don't want to speak for you, but I was always kind of told to finish everything on my plate, and I mean, that's why we're here, you know, talking. But
Same.
I always did, and I'm still at the mentality like I hate to throw stuff out. I feel terrible, you know, because, you know, so many reasons. Like I feel guilty. So, yeah.
So Frankie, you mentioned you're on Noom, and there was a Noom commercial maybe like a month or so ago where Jamie full on paused the TV, and she's like, "That's you." And it's the one where the guy's plate when he's done is spotless.
Yeah.
Because that's me.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid if we go to Olive Garden or we go out like to Maggiano's or Buca di Beppo or whatever Italian chain, and my plate is always clean because I'll take whatever bread they have, and I could make a meal out of bread and sauce. That's a problem.
Yeah. I'm the exact same way, and with Noom, I get it. Like, you read these articles, and it makes you read these articles, and of course you could skip over it, but you're like, hey, if I'm paying all this money, why am I going to skip over it?
Right.
And so, I mean, for like the last, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 days, I've actually gotten up and walked. And I look. So the other thing that I forgot to tell you guys in our group chat is that Jenna made me get this Fitbit, and she got me the nicer one that's a little thinner and blah blah blah. But this thing tells you the calories that you burn, probably based on steps or movement. So I probably would burn a lot more calories if I was Jaworski and put it on this hand.
There's an episode of The League, Jason.
Oh, I know.
The pedometer one?
Yep, I know. How is he walking that much every day?
Going for a run.
That his dad helped with too, remember?
Yeah, but if it's true, then I have 1,000 calories a day deficit, which means I should lose about a pound every 3.5 days. So we'll see if after a month I lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Which I did great. I lost weight, and then I went on a cruise. And I told Jan when I went on, I said, look, I'm going to eat a guy's burger on the cruise. I'm not going to, worry about what I'm eating, because I had just had like that heart procedure done like a few days before. So I was like, I'm going to eat. So I ate, and I gained, I want to say like 12 pounds on the cruise. And then I got COVID and lost 13. So.
Well, hey, it balanced out then.
Yeah, that was back to where I started, so we're good. But I have been walking, and so that I feel like that, I'm walking faster. And I took my dog on the first day. Well, one of my dogs, Winnie, and I was like, damn, this girl is slowing me down. Talk about to pick her up and carry her, because I need to go. I need to keep my heart rate up. So now she stays at home, and I walk her just a little bit later on. But we got any more discontinued items?
Yeah, I was going to say I could run through real quick and do a speed round to finish this up.
No,
Jason in our chat mentioned the Bigfoot pizza. The pizza. That thing was phenomenal. 3 feet.
Was it shaped?
That was just, it came in it's like a flat cardboard tray, and it went in a paper bag. It was like 3 foot long, and that was how they advertised it. It was 3 feet of pizza. And it was just like, it was their pan pizza, except it was
it was cut like sheet pizza style, but it was lengthwise.
It was good. And the triple decker or insider pizza from Pizza Hut. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was their
what was it? I remember the name, but what was it?
Their regular thin crust, and then a layer of cheese, and then a pre-made thin crust shell that sat on top of the cheese, and then your sauce and all your toppings.
Okay.
It was pretty good. See, I've got Wendy's, the Super Bar, and Breakfast Bar.
Oh, yes. Yes, the Super Bar was awesome. I used to get that a lot as a kid.
Yeah, it was great.
The sweet yellow napkins, man. It sucks they got away from all that, too.
The Biggie fries.
Biggie fries.
Those are still the best fries. That era of French fry they had is better than anything they've changed it to.
I don't like boardwalk style fries to begin with, and that's what they've been doing for a while.
Yeah. They're just not as good. I don't know. I don't care if the other ones were more unhealthy. I don't know what the deal is, but bring those back, please.
So this is something that bothers me with fast food, and you kind of hit it earlier with Burger King. There was like a time period where suddenly we were going to fast food to eat healthy.
Yeah.
I can eat healthy
Right.
6 days a week. If I want to have on a Saturday an awful fast food meal, let me have that.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta have a cheat day. You're gonna fail. You have to. You can't set yourself up, unless you're like, absolutely determined, like a maniac, like Kurt Angle, determination of insanity.
Right.
If you don't give yourself a little leeway, you set yourself up. That's my opinion, of course, but you set yourself up for failure because.
Oh yeah.
That's
If you don't have a cheat day, you're gonna backslide hard.
Yes.
and that's a discussion we have in this house all the time. Because Jamie's like, we need to make a lifestyle change. We need to do this, and I'm like, you don't understand that. That's gonna make things worse than it is make them better.
Yeah.
I know because I've lived this my entire life.
Yeah.
So, Dags, speaking of discontinued, and I don't want to hijack the list, but you might have been here that made me think about it. Have you ever been like in Williamsport, near Williamsport, that country cupboard place that just closed down?
I've heard about it, but never been there.
They used to have a fantastic buffet. That was just amazing. And it had covered all the bases. Like, that home style cooking with like potatoes and gravy. And then they had like a really good meatloaf and sliced ham bar, things like that. And it was, it was real touristy because they had all this, the big gift shop. It was like this huge place of all kinds of different, like overpriced items, like garden items and stuff. But the food was so good. And they just closed it. It makes me sad. I wonder if you've ever been there, but.
I haven't. Now, if you go Lancaster way, there's like 3 or 4 different places like that you could go to. There's Yoder's. That's a really popular one. There's Shady Maple, which is like the most popular one.
Uh-huh.
And these are just huge, ridiculous buffets. And it's like $20. And every night it's something different. I know Saturdays they do prime rib. And we know people who go like every other month.
I know I've been to Lancaster.
Well, there's not much to see.
There's a really big car show there once, like every summer, I think. There used to be. And I went with my dad. I know he went to a place. I don't know if I doubt it was Shady Maple because that name would make me laugh and stick out in my head. But so I don't know. But
Shady Pines.
Shady Pines.
So that was the name of my fantasy football league that we had started a long time ago. It was the Shady Pines Football League.
Okay.
And on the league, they had the Shiva, we had the Rue. And it was named after Rue McClanahan.
That's great.
Are we going to do our league or no?
That's up to old Brando.
Need to get
I'll have
something.
to talk to Brando about it.
Yeah.
All right. The last place I've got here is the one with the longest list, and it's Arby's. Arby's has practically alienated me as a customer. They got rid of the potato cakes, which were the best side item of any fast food place, in my opinion. They were so good.
Those are little triangle ones, right? They were fantastic.
Yep.
They were with the sour cream dipping sauce. God damn, they were good.
Yes, the old Cool Ranch sour cream sauce.
Hell yes.
Yep. You might be talking about the loaded potato bites that had the bacon and the cheese.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and those were fantastic too. And those were not around long enough.
No.
They're on my list. They just took away recently. They got rid of ham completely off the menu, which meant
Really?
no more chicken cordon bleu sandwich, and no loaded Italian sandwich.
What are you doing? Get out of here.
She's dancing.
She's a little. I don't know where she gets it from. Little performer. Always trying to be funny. I wouldn't get that.
But I mean, they essentially took away my order. I would get a loaded Italian, a chicken cordon bleu, and an order of potato cakes. All those things are gone, and that's all within the last year.
Yeah.
I can't stay mad because I always love my beef and cheddar. That was my jam back in the day. I still, once in a great while, And now they have bigger sizes. Like you can get a big ass beef and cheddar.
Yes, they do. Yeah, the half pound.
I've been guilty of that sometimes in the past.
And
I've
it's
definitely gotten the
it's
double and then some.
Yeah. The barbecue.
That's right. Wow.
That, Jason?
I don't remember that now.
It was chopped roast beef in this barbecue sauce and then slapped on a bun. And they used to back in the day when it was $5 for those, or the regular roast beef sandwiches.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then the turnovers, especially the chocolate turnover.
Oh yeah, they used to have those at the one where our office is. So, little description of our office. Our office is in like a big shopping complex in the middle of downtown Harrisburg. So there's our state office, there's gaming office for like gambling and such. And then there's like private offices and so forth, and then there's a food court, and the food court had Taco Bell, a couple mom and pop places, and they had an Arby's, and the Arby's had the turnovers.
They were so good. I mean,
Now, do you remember?
The apple were fine, but the chocolate ones, next level.
Now, I don't know if your Arby's were like this, but I remember the one near us growing up. They used to have like a fixins kind of bar where you could put like onions on your, like fresh sliced onions on your roast beef, or pickles, or all kinds of other things to put on your roast beef.
Ours didn't, but we didn't get one until 2002.
Yeah, this would have been like in the 80s and early 90s.
What that sounds like and reminds me of is something on my list for the next topic, the discontinued fast food chains, and that was Rax. I don't know.
I've never had Rax.
Had Rax roast beef. There's only 1 or 2 left in operation. I think they're both in Ohio. But they had a bar like that where you could top your sandwiches. They also had a number of baked potato options, bacon and cheese, broccoli and cheese, all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
And that was another place that we went to. We didn't go out to eat like that often. Pizza Hut, when we would have the book certificates, we did a lot. We'd always go there once a month during school, and then we'd go to Hardee's and then Rax. And I don't know why the Rax here closed. I don't know if that's when they were just closing in general. But I would have been in probably junior high, and Burger King moved in to that building shortly after. But Rax roast beef was very good.
Little known fact, and also little cared about fact, Rax was my sister's first job.
Oh, really?
All right.
Nice.
Now it is called, that same building that was built for Rax is called Chile Verde. It's a Mexican restaurant that's been there for years and years and years.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Shout out
one I
to-
got. Oh, go ahead, Will.
No, I was going to say shout out to Mean Gene Burgers for discontinued fast food chains. recipes.
And Pasta Mania.
I actually heard that Mean Gene's burgers were
They're
like
pretty good.
really good.
They were really good. Yeah, there was one in Jamestown. My ex, we would go visit her mom and stuff, her family. They had one in the mall, and we'd go there all the time, and they were really good. They had good fries too.
Wow.
They're a lot like.
And they were the
A&W,
burgers
but
that said
not-
"bite me," right?
I think they remind me a lot of A&W burgers. That's the only thing that pops in my head right now. I'm sorry, but they weren't quite.
That's
the
a great
same,
one. That's
but-
a
Yeah,
great.
they were pretty good.
Cool that you went there.
Yeah, it was cool, but I think they're all gone now, unfortunately. Just like poor Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah.
Sorry, way to bring it down, Bill. Go ahead, Dave. Take over. Let's cheer this mofo up, please.
I don't know if this is gonna cheer anyone up. So I remember as a kid, there used to be Big Boys in the Harrisburg region where I live here in Pennsylvania,
Uh-huh.
and let me tell you, I had some fantastic burgers at Bob's Big Boy back when it was franchised out in the Pennsylvania area. And that's more of a sit-down restaurant than it is fast food, but yeah, I just haven't had a burger as good as I had there in a long time. And I think they had them a few in New York back in the day too, if I recall.
I don't ever remember going to one, but I think you're absolutely right, but I don't think I've ever been as much as I'd like to. Yeah, I never
I know
had one.
there's some in Michigan, but I've never been to one either.
Yeah.
Was Big Boy ever related to Shoney's?
I don't know. So I know at the time that Big Boys were franchised out, they were owned by Marriott, and I feel to say that Shoney's was owned by a hotel company at some point too. I have been to Shoney's, and Shoney's is no joke.
It's a buffet, right?
If I recall, yes, and this would have been like when I was 14. So
Yeah, there used to be one about 35 minutes from here, and I mean it closed 25 years ago probably. But we would go there once in a while, and that breakfast buffet especially, that was no joke.
I asked Scott Steiner about his, and I guess it closed. This is about 2 years ago, where I met Kevin Nash. I was in the line, I was like, "Hey, how's the Shoney's going?" He's like, "I sold it." So just a little update there for wrestling fans out there.
he got tired of the fat asses.
Yeah, he had to do all the Steiner, man.
Oh, ham cubes, right? Isn't that what you called him on your shows there, Sexy Conrad? You called him ham cubes?
Oh man, I'll chat you up.
Yeah, chat me up, Shoney's.
Diggs, do you remember Bonanzas? Because they were pretty big.
That's on my list.
And Haas. Okay, all right. Sorry, man. Spoilers, but
No,
yeah.
go ahead. Talk about it.
That kind of made me think of that because I know they're kind of big in your Haas's. Remember those two? Did you guys?
Oh, we got Haas's.
You guys still got a Haas's?
We're like in the heartland of Haas's. There's like
God.
3 or 4 in the area. We don't go there. The missus hates their food, so we never go to Haas's.
I know their buffet wasn't as good as it didn't have as much stuff. The one around us as Ponderosa and Bonanza did. You know, I mean, those were the jam back in the day. And when Ponderosa had the all-you-can-eat steak, it was over. Like my buddy will joke about that.
I mean, Haas's is basically the same premise as Ponderosa and Bonanza.
Yeah.
How come we didn't get a Little Joe's or a Cartwright's? Inch out a little bit more, jeez.
Come on down to Little Joe's. That sounds awful now that I've said that in my
Yeah, right?
That's probably why they didn't go that route, right there.
Everybody $4.99 a disappointment.
Yeah, everybody wants to go down to Big Joe's, huh? Mark Herrick said that he misses Taco John's. Anybody know anything about Taco John's?
Taco John's is the truth. We've got one about 25 minutes away. Think about Taco Bell if it was operated with the same level of customer service and quality as Chick-fil-A.
Huh.
Okay.
Excellent. It's so much better than Taco Bell. They do something called potato olays, which are just your little coin-style hash browned potatoes. Fry them, and then they toss them in like a taco seasoning. They're phenomenal. Get some of those, a cup of their queso, you're good to go. And they do something called 6-pack and a pound with 6 tacos and a pound of the potato olays. That's like their big, long time. I know Drew has talked about it when he was a kid, when they lived in Nebraska for a while, that they were out there, and that was the 6-pack and a pound was the thing back then.
Well, this message is for Mark Hertwick. The closest one to you is Somerset, Kentucky.
If you ever run across one when you're traveling someplace, stop. You will not be disappointed.
It looks like they're close to Tennessee.
What's it called? Taco what?
John.
Taco John's.
There's one outside of Johnson City.
Taco John's.
Okay. Underrated fast food items or restaurants. What do you got?
All right, I got some here. So as far as restaurants go, I'm going with Long John Silver's and A&W.
F yes, sir. I was going to bring that up for myself. Long John Silver's. I don't know what is in that batter, but it's like crack to me. I enjoy it. You know, the hush puppies, the fish, the shrimp. all of it.
So our closest Long John's is a Long John's / A&W. So, I mean, I can tell you plenty of times back in the day before I was married, me and my best friend David, we would go to Long John's. We're, two broke guys in our late teens, early 20s. We'd get like tons of fish, and we would always get a frosted mug of A&W root beer, and it was the best meal ever.
That sounds like a winner.
Well,
Yeah.
so
It was a winter fish and chicken dinner. That's what it was.
after I moved here, I was running one of my errands, and I came down the road, and I saw a Long John Silver's and an A&W, the combo. And so I text Janice, I just found this Long John Silver, so I'm going to go in and get it. And man, I could not have been more disappointed in my life.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was, and I had some fish. I can't remember exactly what I had, but it was a triangular shaped fish thing, and it was nothing like I remembered in my childhood. So in my town, we only had a couple of fast food places. We had a Long John Silver's, which no one ate at except for my Aunt Trina, McDonald's, Hardee's. But then we had all these mom and pop places like Snappy Lunch, Odell's, Speedy Chef. And those are the ones that were closer to the house that we would eat. My mom did not like Long John Silver's. My mom liked the Calabash style seafood. So like Libby Hill was one, and Mayflower's another, which is where I worked all through high school. And so Long John Silver's, I probably had last had, I'm going to say in 1994 when in Clarksville, Tennessee, or Oak Grove, Kentucky, right somewhere around there when I was in the military, and it just was not like what I remembered. I mean, but I mean that's true of most things, right? Like we have this picture in our head of how great whatever was, and then we have it 20 years later, and we're like, what the hell? But it could also this same place is closed now. So in a year or two, it was closed and it was donezo. So it could have been this place just sucked,
Right.
Or it was the bad food or the whatever. Yeah, but I had it. So disappointed because I really wanted to be as good as what I remembered back when I was in the military. And I can still remember the conversation that I had with my friend when I was in the military inside the Long Johns. I can remember that conversation to a T. So, I mean, I really wanted it to be good.
Right.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I've never eaten at an A&W, but we do have an A&W Long John Silver's about 35 minutes away. We keep talking that we need to go there because Amy loves Long John Silver's, and ours closed, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. It's now a Japanese steakhouse. And
I'm sort of confused about A&W. I've only known them as a root beer, but then you see them, right? And it's like, wait a minute, how do you go from being a root beer to the burgers or whatever they serve, hot dogs or whatever?
I think they started as like a drive-in kind of place.
Yeah, they was big back in like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, the
They
one
were everywhere.
kind of near me in Cortland. They still have like that set up. It's almost like a mini Sonic sort of deal where they have the drive-in, but they come up to you, not on roller skates, not that old school, but they come up or take your order and stuff like that. And then they have these little machines that are kind of old-timey stuff where you put your order in, and it's pretty cool, but it's also kind of annoying. So I just go inside sometimes if I'm going to order. But yeah, they do burgers and hot dogs, and they're both really good. The burgers are fantastic.
Yeah, their burgers are pretty good. We got to give a shout out to Diggy because Diggy is a big fan of A&W.
Yeah, I hope he's feeling better too.
Yeah.
What? He's been sick?
By the time this drops, he's feeling okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
sick?
under the weather today.
Yeah.
Well, let me hit him up.
Now, I've seen this a few different times, and I don't know if it's true or not, but the meme or whatever that I've seen says that in the 80s, A&W came out with a third of a pound burger, and they marketed it as bigger than McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
But stupid people didn't understand and didn't believe that a third of a pound was bigger than a quarter pound because they saw the 4 in the quarter pound and thought it was bigger.
So that is 100% true, and if you Google it, it'll take you to a link on the A&W restaurant website that even talks about it. So
Really?
they don't shy away from it. Yeah. So the idea, it cost more than a quarter pounder, and people were like, "Why would I pay more money for less of a burger?" For the exact reason you said, because they looked at 1/4 as being bigger than 1/3.
Can't fix stupid.
No.
I mean that's crazy, right? I mean that's like, I mean that's like pretty basic math, right? It's a compared fractions. But and I'm not picking on my son, but he came over from school today and he says, "Hey, I really think I need to be on a higher level math. I'm on he's in algebra 1, and he's like, I think I need to be in geometry." And I said, "Oh, that's cool." And then a few minutes later I said, "Oh, you got any grades recently?" And he says, "Yeah, I got a 3 on my test in algebra." I said, "Damn, son, why do you think you need to be in geometry if you get an 83s on it?" I'm like, "Hey, why don't you get some hundreds on some tests, and then we'll talk about bumping you up, you know?" I mean, hey, we could all probably use a little math refresher. You know, we could all probably do a little better in some math stuff. But let me tell you, you know, if you think that 1/3 is smaller than 1/4, holy smokes! What do you think 1/16 is? You know, come on.
You said you wouldn't talk about my penis size on air, please. No, it's not fair game.
Roll Tide.
Oh. To me, I think Dairy Queen's underrated.
We're
And I
getting
think part of it,
finally.
I think
Sorry,
part
I'm
of it is
excited.
because not every area has a Dairy Queen with the full food menu.
Mm.
Some of them don't have burgers. I don't know how it is where you guys live if they have the burgers. Oh, I know, Jason, you guys just did the taste test last month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of the All-Star burgers that they were doing. Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of the flamethrower burger.
The flamethrower was our pick, actually, because I thought we both thought that the basic double wasn't anything to write home about compared to the flamethrower.
Right.
And it had nothing to do with partiality because Bryce Harper was the athlete representing the flamethrower. He's a Philly. That's funny you mentioned DQ because I think their chicken strips are super underrated and had them on my list.
The gravy.
Yes, with the gravy. And I wish they brought
extra
back
toast.
See, I liked the mini biscuits they had out back in 2020.
I remember you saying that.
They were fantastic.
The what?
So back in 2020, I want to say 2020 or early 2021, DQ they do chicken strips, but then they did a chicken strips with biscuits and gravy, and it had mini biscuits that you could dip in the gravy.
Holy smokes.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send a picture in the messenger chat because I'm not advanced enough to know how to send any of it into Skype. But Amy wanted ice cream last night, and I had leftover French toast casserole for dinner. And I'm like, I don't want anything sweet. Get me some onion rings and some cheese curds and a side of gravy from Dairy Queen. That's what I want. And I think that I know that you haven't had Culver's before, right, Jason? They're not in your.
I have not, and they're on my list of places to try.
I think the cheese curds at Dairy Queen are comparable to the ones at Culver's.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a big mark for Dairy Queen's chicken strips. I think they're fantastic.
They are.
And they're super juicy. Like, they're not like some places you get chicken strips and they're dried out. Dairy Queens have always been top notch.
And they're not all breading either.
I've never had them there, but the Dairy Queen here is right across from the Taco Bell I talked about earlier, with Taco Bell's crappy service, and like people are like, they don't want to be there. This Dairy Queen, it's like one or two or three stores down from a Chick-fil-A. So this Dairy Queen on the same side of the road is on point. Like, they are so nice and so friendly. And so, like, one of the first times I went there, I said, hey, I don't see it on the menu, but I'd like a Hawaiian Blizzard, which has got the pineapple, coconut, I don't know. And they said, oh, we can do that for you. And so they did it for us. And I had been to Dairy Queens in the past where I said, can I get the Hawaiian Blizzard? And they said, oh, we don't have that anymore. But this person was smart enough to go, well, we have all the ingredients of it, so let's just do it. Right. And so they did it, and everybody was so nice from start to finish. And I mean, it's like, when you think about it, it's a pretty easy transaction, right? Like, you order from the window, so you got that person, or it might be the same person as the other, but then you got the person that takes your money, and then the person that gives you your stuff. And it was just like, when you look through the window, sometimes it's kind of telling, right? Of like, right. Of how the situation is inside the place. And you can see that these people were having fun and were upbeat and positive, which is what you want anywhere. And so, I mean, it's all that was just like, anytime that I have a chance of it to put it in my diet, I would be like, yes, I will go and get a Blizzard from this place, because they are so nice, so friendly, and so happy, and they look like they actually want to be serving people.
That's unusual to find anymore.
Right?
It really is.
I think that stuff comes down to management and the franchisee. If you create an atmosphere that people want to work in, you're going to get results.
I agree with you. And so the Culver's that's near our house, they used to be that way, but the past few times that we've went through the drive-through, it hasn't been that way. It seems like there's been a new person every time who it seems like they're new in the training and they're getting it wrong, or just out of curiosity. So maybe there's been some management change. I don't know, but hey, he's back.
I've been here, but we had a cat fight outside, and so we're trying to figure out if our cat's either getting beat up or beating up somebody. So
wow. Well, we're going to hope it's the latter. I hope your cat's doing the RKO out of somewhere.
Yeah, right. I'm enjoying the Dairy Queen stores list. We're actually finally getting one really, really close to my house. So I'm pretty psyched about it myself. So keep it up. I like hearing it. Psyched.
William, there's no Von Erichs near your house, are there?
Gosh, I don't know. Gosh.
Gosh.
Did you have some other underrated options, Jason?
No. I don't. Oh, man.
Well, do we want to move on to your top 5 fast food places you'd like to try?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let me just read off Mark Herrick's comments first. He says he would like to try PDQ, which, being that he comes down here for the Fan Fest, I can't believe he hasn't tried it yet. And I'll tell you, PDQ's chicken tenders are great. I think they say they're hand battered. So my my second job was in a Calabash seafood restaurant. You guys know what that is?
Nope.
So Calabash is a town that's like on the border of North Carolina, South Carolina. It's in North Carolina, but it's on the border of South Carolina. And so it's basically where you take and you batter your seafood, and as soon as you batter it, you throw it in the fryer. So this place was called Mayflower Seafood, and it was Calabash style seafood. For the most part, I mean, we had steaks and broiled shit too. But since it was Calabash, it was owned by a bunch of Greek folk. And it was my second job. It was the job I worked all through high school. And I was telling my kids this past week that the job, now that I think about it, was a pretty crappy job because I started out as the busboy and the dishwasher. But then when I got to be a fry cook, so I made, 50 cents more an hour, I got all these burns up.
Battle scars.
So I'm telling my kids, it's like, so I was like my son's age, he's about to turn 16, and I would have like in between my fingers a piece of flounder in between every fold. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of flounder in each hand, because flounder was the most commonly ordered dish, and you have to throw them in so they don't stick together. So you have to throw them in. So I would throw one in with my right hand, one in with my left hand, then right, then left, then right, and then left. And then as you throw these things in, you get splashed up with the grease, and you'd have a burn that would turn into a sore that would look like, I don't know, some drug addict, right? You got these burns on your arm, and I'm like 16, 17, 18 years old. So, oh my gosh, man, the life, right?
Yeah.
I was telling Michael a few weeks ago when I first started working, I worked in restaurants. And the first place I worked at, I was a dishwasher, and I learned real quick that I would get more done scrubbing pots and pans than I would using the old beat up dishwashing machine where you'd put the plates in, wait for it to do its thing, and then pull them out. And that was miserable. I could wash pots and pans all night.
Well, so we had the metal scrub thing that we would scrub, and then we'd run it through, and it was like and this is actually the second job that I had, but it would run it through, and it was on like a track,
Yep.
all the way through. So I love PDQ because they hand bread their stuff, so that it's not coming in just already breaded and frozen, and you wait for it to throw out, and then you throw it in. And the other one that Mark loved was that he said he wanted to try was Booyah Burgers and Fries. I have no idea what that is.
No clue.
Booyah, Mooyah. Is he messing with us?
Sounds like some New England hillbilly stuff to me, but
Inside baseball, left and right.
no shame in my game, kids.
Oh no, I looked up Mooyah, and it looks pretty awesome.
Real. It is real. I'll give him that. They do look pretty good.
Oh, we have some here in Florida.
Yeah, those are good looking burgers.
Oh, so we've got some over toward Orlando, Miami. It makes me want to. Oh, there's some over toward Louisiana, so that's for the BTT people.
Oh man.
There's some. Where is this? I don't see like a major city.
I know, but those burgers look pretty amazing from that menu.
Oh, Alabama. There you go. Hot Conrad. Hotlanta.
Yeah,
Looks
You
like
know,
the closest one for me is either Joliet, Illinois, or Middleburg Heights, Ohio. I don't think I'm driving 3 or 4 hours to have a cheeseburger, unfortunately.
oh, it looks like there's one in Wilmington now. Oh, it's at the University of North Carolina, so it's like in their cafeteria.
Mm.
See, you say that, Mike, but me and my buddies, we went to Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in New Jersey, and that was about a 3-hour drive. And you know where we went to eat afterwards? Because there isn't one near us. We went to White Castle.
That's another underrated place. I mean, I know we kind of moved on from that, but they tear you up, they do some damage, but god damn, are they tasty.
Oh yeah, and I could easily eat like 20 in one sitting.
Yeah.
So someone tell me, what's the difference between a White Castle burger and a Crystal burger?
I think they're fairly similar.
I think it's just
I don't know if it's
ownership and name.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much the same.
But they're both sort of slider-ish, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where you go, hey, I'll have 5 of those, and your buddy will go, I'll have 8, and then you don't feel so bad that you lost that, right? Because I mean, you can't. It's not like you get 2.
Right. Oh no.
No, you can't get 2. So I do have some places that I want to try, and one I got to hit up right away and just throw out there. And it's simply because every time the booker talks about it, it sounds amazing, is Cookout.
I got to try Cookout last year. There was a group of us. We went, Dave Jordan, Drew, Mark, and we drove to North Carolina and hung out with Travis Raines, and Spiker came down, and that lunatic Grafton drove 16 hours to hang out with us for about 24 hours and drove 16 hours home. But we hit Cookout, and number one, the milkshakes are phenomenal. And they have so many different flavors.
So that was one of my favorite things about the place, is that they have the seasonal ones. So I used to always get the watermelon milkshake. And so Michael, you want to tell them how the menu works?
Well, you can get the Cookout tray. So you get like your sandwich, and then you've got your side items.
You get 2 of them.
Yeah, chicken quesadillas are a side item. Corn dogs are a side item. They have hush puppies, right?
Oh, I'm done.
I think it's pepper jack cheese bites.
Like a chicken roll up.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. But I think that's just kind of a Southern thing, because I know there was one restaurant we talked about going to on that trip and we didn't, but they had a vegetable plate on their menu, and the options for the vegetable plate were green beans, potato salad, macaroni and cheese. I don't remember what the other ones. Green beans were the only vegetable option in the vegetable plate. And everything else was just side dishes. And I'm like, this is kind of my kind of cooking. But that's what Cookout's like. I mean, they've got all these crazy options for sides.
And it's like, I don't know, $6 for this tray.
Yeah.
So it's like you get your main item, which is a burger or chicken sandwich or something like that. But then it's like, okay, you get 2 side items. Which ones you want? I want a chicken roll up. I want a chicken quesadilla. And then for your other, I don't remember what the other item's called, but then you get something else. And then it's like, okay, for $1 more, you can get a milkshake. And so my go-to was the banana fudge milkshake, unless the watermelon was in season.
I had a peanut butter fudge milkshake from there, and it was fantastic.
Now, how were the burgers?
They're good. They're not great,
Okay.
but they're good. They're charbroiled, which is nice. I'd put a mid-tier fast
Okay.
food burger.
What size do you think that the patties were? Quarter?
Quarter pound, maybe.
Yeah.
They weren't a third.
No, they were big. They were big, so they were
Bigger than a third. They were a quarter.
What else is on your list, Jason?
Yeah, but cookout's amazing. That's one that you should go to. But I'm going to throw this in. Like, you got to have a little preparation. You can't just go through, because you're going to hold up the line for everybody going, wait a minute, what do I get? What's my options? And then you got to pick out the milkshake. And there's like, I don't know, 52 flavors of the milkshake.
Seriously.
So here's a little known fact about me, and it drives my wife up a wall. Whenever we decide we're going to go somewhere on a date night, I've already scoped out the menu like 3 weeks in advance. So by the time we get there, I know exactly what I want, how I want it, and what I'm getting with it.
This is why we're friends. I do the same thing. I know ahead of time.
She's like, why can't you just wait till you get here? I'm like,
there's too many choices. You
exactly.
have to deliberate, and you have to compare and contrast, maybe make a pro and cons list, whatever. You've got to get it figured out. You don't want to be caught in that moment and order the wrong thing and be disappointed.
Exactly.
I would be the same way. If I were going to a place, I'd want to see what the menu was so that I have something, because I hate having to make it on the fly, because then I'm going to look at my wife and go, what do you think I would like?
So on my list, I have some obvious ones like In-N-Out and Culver's and Del Taco. But there's definitely one on my list I want to try just because of how quirky it is, and that's Jollibee.
Yes. I've got that, and I think maybe I'll get to try that in November when we head down for FanFest, because I know there's been a few that have opened down there.
Yeah, we have one in Pinellas Park, which is that way from us. And Jan and I, one day, we were coming from somewhere, and we stopped at, this is right before COVID, and we stopped and we got something. I was wanting wings, so we had wings, and at the Buffalo Wild Wings next door. While we sat there, we watched this line form from the door of Jollibee all the way around, and all the way around to the, I mean, it was huge. So I mean, Jollibee's like. So while we sat there, I said, "Man, what is this Jollibee?" So I looked it up, and I was just like, "Wow, what a just eclectic menu!" And I mean, pretty neat that they have something completely so different, right?
Yeah, and it sounds like it. I mean, from what I hear, I've never heard anyone say bad things about it. So
Amy actually got to try it in the Philippines a few years ago when she was there for work.
Okay.
Her company, they'd switched their customer service department from India to the Philippines, and she was there for 2 weeks training. And so she got to try it, and she really liked it. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to hit it.
Does anyone know where Jollibees mainly are? Are they like up north, down south, west coast?
I think
I know there's some in New York, and I know there's some in Florida, but outside of that, I'm not 100% sure.
William, are there any
yeah,
Jollibees near you?
Started there.
No, not that I know of.
I know there's some in California, and then they've opened up into China or into Florida, but I don't know how far across the U.S. they are.
Looks like there's some in New Jersey, New York, and Queens. One in Maryland, Virginia. Oh, there's one in Philly. I don't really feel like driving to Philly for some
Yeah,
fast food. That's a tough sell to the wife, man. Let me tell you. 90% of the time, she's telling me something I want to eat is gluttonous. So
right. In-N-Out was on my list.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, there's so much talk about it being the best fast food burger. It's got some work to do to beat Culver's, in my opinion. So I'm interested to compare them.
I don't know what it's supposed to be like. What is In-N-Out supposed to be like?
I think their big thing, and the reason why they're strictly West Coast, is their stores can only be so far away from their distribution centers because they're all about freshness and quality. And that's why
which isn't a bad thing.
No, not at all. Not. But their burgers are talked up as the best fast food burger, and I would put Culver's as the best that I've had. Now, I haven't been to Five Guys, and I haven't really heard a lot that makes me think that I have to go there.
Five Guys?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it's good, but I've never heard anybody really rave about it,
They're okay. They cook everything in peanut oil, so their French fries are a little different. And they have decent milkshakes, but they're not very big. But they have some really good ones. And their burgers are decent.
Yeah, solid burgers. I mean, it's worth it to have at least once.
Yeah, it's worth it, right? But it's kind of expensive too, in the grand scheme.
Yeah.
For that type of food, it's kind of you find yourself like, oh man, I could have got like a legitimate restaurant burger for the money I spent on this. But they're okay. They're fine.
I do want to try Whataburger. I'd hoped to hit one of those at the airport in Houston the first time I went to FanFest, but it was across the airport, and I settled for Wendy's because I knew it was going to be good. Jersey Mike's and Firehouse Subs are both places I want to hit, and we've got them about half an hour away. They're in the same plaza. They're like in two different little strip mall sections, one and then the other. And I haven't been over there to try them out yet. But
so for Jersey Mike's, I've never had Firehouse. I think there's one in Lancaster, but that's a bit more of a drive than I'm willing to do for fast food. Jersey Mike's is as close as you would get to a true East Coast mom and pop sub,
right,
on a nationwide scale. I mean,
that's
they blow quality wise. They blow Subway out the water.
I think Subway is extremely overrated.
Big time.
We've got a Jimmy John's here, and I know everybody's not a Jimmy John's fan, but the quality of that compared to the Subway it's night and day.
Yeah.
I've had Jimmy John's, no issues with Jimmy John's food. I like that I can put Sprouts on there. It's something different.
Yep.
But I would put Jersey Mike's over Jimmy John's. That's how good Jersey Mike's is as far as recreating the type of sub I've grown up with
right
in the Pennsylvania area.
Has anyone heard of Gumby's Pizza?
No.
No. So when I was in college, there was a Gumby's Pizza, and they were all like around the colleges mainly, and they would serve pokey sticks.
I was just getting ready to say I looked it up. That's like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
The pokey sticks were absolutely amazing.
They look good.
And so I told you guys that I had a couple of the breadsticks that my daughter was eating and didn't finish. I'd put some ranch on them. And Jana, when we were watching TV earlier, she said, I need, like, I'm craving a snack. So she got home, and I was coming through the kitchen, and I passed her, and she had those breadsticks there, and she had heated them up. And she's like, I left you 2 out. And she said, well, it might be one for you, one for me, or it might be 2 for me. And so I told her, I was like, in college, you'd get this big pie, which was, I don't know what they'd put underneath the cheese, but it was, cheese and breadsticks, and they'd cut it like in the shape of breadsticks, right? And then in the corners, instead of like the garlic sauce or whatever you'd put in the corners, they put ranch dressing. And you dip that bread and cheese into the ranch dressing, and it was just the most amazing thing. Amazing thing. And so tonight, when my daughter left hers hanging out and didn't want to finish it, I took that, and that's what I did with my breadsticks. And it was, whoo, man. I mean, that was like the first, in weeks of food that I've eaten that's been like bread and cheese and that kind of shit that they tell you not to eat, right? But man, that thing, stuff. Yes, it was absolutely. And you dip it in ranch, is amazing, and it took me all the way back to like 1999. In my head, I was back there. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like the Pokey Sticks from way back when.
That's great.
So they sell them on Goldbelly, and I sent the link in the chat.
I've never looked at this Goldbelly, but I've heard guys in the group talk about.
I tell you, stay away from it.
It could be dangerous if I order.
Unless you're ready to order some stuff.
So, what do you guys think in the overall scheme of things? KFC or Popeyes?
Oh, Popeyes. For me, anyway.
Popeyes.
Spicy chicken, red beans and rice. I'm a happy.
Well, I'll tell you, we didn't have Popeyes. And KFC, like, it's nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
Like the skin, the flavors, and whatever. And my mother somewhere has a picture of me with Colonel Sanders.
Oh, that's cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it may be a look-alike. It may be a statue. I don't know. But it's me and Colonel Sanders, and I remember taking the picture, and now it's like some mom and pop place. And I mean, that's really cool because you can still see how they used to always have the thing that was on top that was like the small pyramid shaped thing that was on top of all the old school. And it's still, my parents' hometown, and they built a bike trail right by it. But yeah, that was for me. I loved the fried chicken. I loved the taste. I loved how the skin came off. I don't even know who the skin. It didn't feel like the skin of the chicken. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you would pull the things out, it wasn't as thick as the skin of the chicken. So my grandma, she would always have stewed chicken at her house. But I think she pressure cooked it.
Okay.
And so that the skin on that was like really thick and hard. But the skin on the fried chicken from KFC was never like that. But back when I used to eat the fast food stuff, I used to love the Popeyes. Loved that chicken from Popeyes. So we get the Popeyes chicken sandwich, and it was amazing.
It's a good sandwich.
Yeah, it is really good.
I don't know. Does Popeyes serve like chicken legs, chicken whatever?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I like Popeyes chicken sandwich. But that Bojangles chicken sandwich might actually be better than the Popeyes one.
That's on my list of places to try. I've never had Bojangles, but I want to.
I got to try that last year, and we did a taste test. And for the life of me, I can't remember. I want to say that I went with Bojangles because of the pickles. Maybe the pickles on it were better than the Popeyes. They're both excellent sandwiches.
I mean, so when I went to Reading to meet Barry and Jamie and Amal Pitts and the Spikers for lunch that one day. Barry's like, I'm just gonna say it now. The Popeye sandwich is the best sandwich. You're not gonna regret getting it. I'm like, well, who am I to argue with Barry? So I'm gonna get the chicken sandwich, and I'm like, I'm so glad I did. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Were there pictures of this? I don't remember the post.
Yeah.
Jamie posted a picture. Yeah.
Wow, that's really awesome.
It was a good time. I got to meet Amal literally lives in the city my office is located in, and we always wanted to meet up, and then COVID happened, so it was cool to finally meet him. It was cool to meet Barry and Jamie, and Spiker used to live an hour away from me, and we never knew it because by the time we met, he was already pretty much moving to North Carolina. So it was cool to kind of meet everyone, and really like the first time since COVID, I left the house to do something that didn't involve family.
That's really cool. Hey, and now Spiker's up somewhere near William Meriwether.
Yeah, he's up in New York. It's a little ways away, but yeah, he's close. We're talking about hanging out when all the baby stuff gets, kind of shakes out.
He's gonna be an awesome dad.
Oh yeah, super fun.
That's something I gotta say is kind of amazing to me in a group of wrestling fans, basically, how many great dads there are in the group, and you get to see it, and you get to know these people, and it's like, wow, they're awesome.
Well, not to get emotional, but my dad passed away a month before my wife and I were married. So he never got to meet my kids or my wife. And so it's like, sometimes if I want advice from a father figure, somebody to tell me, hey, look, I'm having this going on with my kids, I have nobody to turn to except for guys in the group, right? And it's like
plenty of people to turn to.
Yeah, but that's it. It's like my dad passed. And I say to my son, like, you can always come to me and I'll help you. But like in the case of me, it's like and my dad had a stroke, so for 7 years he's in a nursing home. So I mean, he was kind of useless for 7 years. But it's like, I know that about the group. That's one of the great things about the group is that I have a ton of people that I can go to and ask questions of how do you do this? Or what would you do in this situation? Can you help me out with this? Right? I mean, there's guys who's got kids older than me, kids older than me, but kids older than my kids who have already went through the stuff that I'm probably going through with my kids, right? So, I mean, that's like one of the best things about the group of Breaking Kayfabe with Boucher and Barry. It's like, there's people in there that I could say, hey, I'm having trouble with this, and then people would immediately reach out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
It's an amazing community. It really is.
I mean, I could talk about anything on there, and somebody would reach out and say, yeah, I got you. Here's what I did when I went through the situation, or here's what I went through when my dad was doing it, right? I mean, that's a great thing. But I mean, and the best thing is that we can all get together and we can talk about whatever. We can talk about sports, Dax. We can talk about Philly sports, and we love the whatever group. We can talk about baseball. We can talk about football. We can talk about eating food. We can talk about eating healthy. We can talk about, being artistic and, hey, look, I love to draw these things. Hey, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm at this show and whatever. I mean, that's one of the best things about the group is it's like, I mean, there's a lot of love. And I mean, you wouldn't think that with a group of men that are focused around wrestling and sports that we would just be so supportive. There's so much, and it was very touching to me that, you know, when Jen and I picked Joe to be the first recipient of coming to the Fan Fest, that before he could get there, there's already this group of guys who's like, oh, let's put together all this money and let's buy him something and help him out, right? And there's this group of, I don't know how many people were on that group chat, but there were a ton of people in the group chat, and they got like $640 for Joe. I mean, that was amazing. And it's also, I mean, telling that, you know, he didn't make it. He didn't make it to the Fan Fest. So, I mean, that completely changed my life, and it changed Jana's life of like, wow, we really have to light a fire under ourselves to really help people get to the Fan Fest. And so I guess the transition to the plug, hey, look, if you haven't donated to the fund to help bring another person, and I already said this year it's going to be David Jordan, but we'll keep that money and we'll roll over. But look, it's really important for people that are part of this group to come and hang out with it, because it's life changing. And Michael, you're talking about going to North Carolina, and it's like there's people who can't afford to leave, you know, their town. And I say to you, if you want to be a part of helping someone, just donate. It takes Jen and I $1,000 to bring a person from wherever in the U.S. to Florida for the CWF Legends Fanfest, and just going there changed my life. It changed Jana's life. I mean, she don't even like wrestling. She don't give a shit. She don't know Magnum TA from Bob Roop. I mean, that's
Magnum PI.
but I'll tell you, she knows Magnum TA, but she knows Michael Herrick from Mark Hertwick, and she loves those guys, and she could tell you stories and conversations that she had with each of them. And I mean, and that's the beautiful thing about the group of guys, that we're so masculine. We all have facial hair, you know, we're all burly men. However, we still love each other and we take care of each other, and that we're giving. And it's like, if you said to me, Michael, if you said to me, hey, I want to sell these DVDs behind me, I'd say, done. Right? I mean, that's just how we are. We're loving and we're giving. So, to wrap this all up, talking about fast food places, Michael Herrick, can you tell me, when you were a kid, what was the one place that you would love to go, and what would you order?
Let's see. It probably would have been Hardee's, and it was the Big Deluxe. That was the thing, you know. Once I was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8, I had made that jump from the kids menu or the kids meal to that, and like I said, you know, that was driven because that's what my grandpa got, and I wanted to be like him. So that was my thing.
What was your grandpa's name, and what was he like?
His name was Bill Smith, and he was a great guy. Just a great guy. He was one of the first people around here to decorate his house for Christmas, you know, put out Christmas lights and all that. And Amy told me when she was a kid, they used to, every night, they would have to drive past my grandma and grandpa's house to see the lights.
That's really sweet that, like, she knew your grandparents' house was. I mean, that's touching.
Yeah.
What about you, William?
It's a weird thing, and I got to split it into 2 places in a way, because I really love beef and cheddars, as I mentioned before, from Arby's. I loved Arby's sauce. I like they put that French dressing on the thing. Something specific about those, but I love, and I still love them. But they changed the gravy a little bit. But KFC mashed potatoes and their older gravy, like whatever the hell they did their gravy now is different. It's like darker and a little spicier. But the way they used to do their gravy, it's still good. But that was my jam. Like if I could, if I was really spoiled and begged, I'd go to Arby's and get the beef and cheddar, maybe more than one because I'm a pig. But then I would get the mashed potatoes with gravy if we could do that. Again, it's like I had to really be a good boy to get the make 2 trips or go to 2 different places because they weren't really close to each other. I am lucky enough or unlucky enough to have the KFC Taco Bell combo to bring it full circle back to Taco Bell.
Ooh.
Yeah, one of those not too far from me, but so there's always that. But yeah, that was my jam. Is the beef and cheddars? I loved them to death as a kid, and I still do. But that was my favorite.
All right, Tax. Well, what was your favorite restaurant as a kid, and what would you order?
As a kid, I gotta say McDonald's, and that out of Happy Meal before I'm eating double quarter pounders phase would be the 2 cheeseburger meal.
Solid choice. So.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know about as a kid. As I got older, it was this place that's a mom and pop. It's called Speedy Chef. And I still today, when I go back to visit my mother, I get a chef burger because Speedy Chef, you got to get chef burger, right? You know how those places always have Burger King used to have the King burger. So the chef burger, a hot dog, and order French fries. And the French fries are the crinkle cuts, which are my favorite. And when I go back there, that's a little much for me to eat, but I always do it. And then the other thing that I do is I take the chef burger, which is I don't even know if it's 8 ounces, but it's one of the larger size burgers. And I dip the ends in ketchup. And I still find myself doing that with, the Culver's or whatever burger that I get. We had some vegetarian, the Impossible burgers the other night, and I was doing the exact same thing. I was taking those and dipping the ketchup. Amazing. I cannot. So I don't have a very strong sense of smell or taste, and for those, I can't taste the difference. But like some of them have the smoke taste, and I love that because it tricks my mind into thinking stuff is real, right? You don't want to think, oh, I'm eating some fake shit, So when I eat that stuff and I can taste smoke or I can have a little bit, I absolutely love it. And then when I look at the calorie difference, it's like almost half.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that big of a difference.
Yeah. Well, and most of the difference is it probably in the bread.
Yeah.
So tonight I had it wasn't Crave. It was like, I'm going to mess this up. It's like Garden, but it's like Gardein.
No, Gardein.
Okay.
Gardein that makes this fake chicken, but it tastes to me exactly like chicken, and it's spicy, and it was absolutely delicious. That's what I had tonight. So I put it on Nature's Own healthy multigrain, perfectly crafted bread. And that is the absolute best bread I've ever had in my entire life, bar none. And then on that Noom list, it's green, which means it's the best, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I'm telling you, if you get a chance to try it, it's like down here, it's like $4.29 a loaf. It is amazing, and it's healthy. So
that's great.
Anybody else got anything to add or yell or talk about?
I would just say that, you were talking about going back to the donations, even $1. There's over 2,000 people in the brothership. If everybody gave $1, that'd fund 2 people. So it doesn't have to be, a big dollar donation. It adds up.
I agree 100% because Jan and I are paying for one out of our pocket, and I don't like taking credit for anything, so I'll tell you the truth. It's Jana. She's the breadwinner, and I'm so thankful for her that she is so loving and thoughtful and will give it up. Money, the money up. She'll give the money up. But she'll, and she doesn't mind helping people out because look, she struggled, I struggled. Up until the day that I got here, it was a struggle, and so we get it. We absolutely 100% get it. So whatever, but I also know this. When I was broke and I started working for Jana, so right before I started working for Jana, I had owned a nightclub and it burned down, and I lost everything I freaking had, and it was very humbling. And so I took this job selling insurance, and Jana was the CEO of the company, and it was very humbling to go from running the place to struggling to make ends meet. And it was, I worked for her for 6 years, not directly for her because she was up here and I was a peon, but I get it. She gets it. Like, we know that, like, sometimes it's a struggle. So we're happy to help people out. But going to the CWF Legends Fanfest, it changed both of our lives. It changed both of our lives. 100%. It changed our lives because we made these new friends. Yeah. We found these new connections. And it opened our doors up to see how much this event really means to a lot of people. And so that's why she said to me, and I said to her, we should help people get there. And she said, yes, absolutely. And so giving to help people out changed my life. Because when I started working for her, I didn't have shit. I lost everything. I lost everything I had. My business, my club. I didn't have insurance because I couldn't afford it. I had nothing. I lost everything. So I started giving just to help people out. And it changed me. I mean, it just changed how I felt. It changed, like, my focus. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, I started realizing that, and for the first time in my life, I used to never, ever be compassionate. I never used to feel sorry for anybody. I never used to, like, be empathetic. And you think that that's crazy, right? Like, you hear, like, serial killers or sociopaths or whatever, that those people are that way. I was that way as all those people, but because I realized there were people that were worse off than me that needed the money, I started giving it even when I didn't have it. It completely changed me. So that's why I said, look, we'll bring the second person if other people just give and we get enough money to give it. Like $1, $2. You can send me a check for $1. You can send $1 in the mail. I don't care. But trust me, when you realize that the money that you have given has helped a person go from Seattle, Washington, down to Florida and be able to experience this thing, it will change you. You will realize that you have contributed and helped out a whole bunch. And I mean, that's the truth. I mean, Michael, I know you helped someone get there last year, and I mean, it had to be. it had to be like very impactful on your life.
It was.
And that person, I saw them there, and I said, "Damn, I don't know that I've ever seen a person as happy as this person at this fan fest. They were the happiest person in the room, and that touched me so much." So, and I'm not just saying it to you guys, I'm saying to everybody, like, look, if you've got $1, $5, $10, whatever to give, please just give it and help out and help get this other person there. So Jan and I are paying for one person. I hope the brothership gets together and gets enough to bring 2 people, which I've already said, look, we've already paid for it, right? Dave Jordan's the guy that's coming. So, but still, you got to give, just give it, and then we'll make sure that another person gets there. And then the next, if we have more than extra, then the next fan fest we'll bring another person. And I mean, and here's a true story I haven't told anybody, but I'll tell you this one. So someone else reached out to me and said, "Hey, I've got a friend that wants to come, and and they've had a really hard time. They've had some struggles in their life. Do you think you could help them out?" So if I get a little extra, then I'm happy to help. Well, I'll help them out regardless, but it would be, I could pass it on to someone else to help out. So I'm telling you, this fan fest, Dags, William, you said you'll be there, right, William?
Yep, I believe so. Absolutely.
Dags, we'll
Lord
get you
willing.
there. You got to get there. So
I want to. It's a matter of having the funds to go. In all honesty,
we'll get you the funds. In the year or two, we'll talk and we'll work some things out and we'll make some things happen. You definitely got to get there. Like, you're a very important part of the brothership, and you have to experience it. And that's why that's why we said, hey, look, we'll do it, and it's open to first time people. And then this year we said, I don't know what we'll get, but we'll say first time people take priority. So. Right. So anyway, I'm so happy to be in this position. I'm so happy for the brothership, and having people to talk to. And if I have a question about fatherhood or whatever, I've got a bunch of people to go to. I mean, it's like, thanks, you've got more experience being a father than I do, because I've only been a father for 3 years. And you've got a 5th grader, so at least you got that. And apparently, according to the joke, Dave Jordan's got a ton of children. Does he?
Well, when you've been on Earth for over 4,000 years, it's bound to happen. The only person with more relatives across the world is Genghis Khan.
So when I talked to this guy, I said, well, what's up with that? He says, "Oh, I'll tell you in person." Okay. So I gotta wait till the fan fest.
Dave's a great guy. He's a great choice.
He is a great dude.
So thank you guys so much. I mean, it was a great conversation. I hope I didn't screw it up talking too much. And I had a great time with all of you guys. Dags, you're so professional. You kind of make me look bad, but that's like.
If only you heard more episodes of NASCAR. Yeah, okay. Empire.
Just following in Conrad's footsteps.
Yeah. If only.
Do you own your own home?
The bank owns my home.
Oh, well, I hate to tell everyone, but I'm still unprofessional. I forgot to hit the record button. No, I'm just kidding.
We've had that happen.
Yeah, me too. My very first episode with Brandon Rice, I forgot to hit the record button. Jeez.
Oh.
But thank you all so much. I know it's late. I appreciate it. Who's here not on Eastern time? Is everybody Eastern?
I think we all are, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So I don't feel so bad. I mean, no. I got that backwards. Easter, we got it worse. So when I record with Matt Crowder or Ariel, they're behind me. So I'm the one that has to stand late and get screwed because I'm up and whatever.
Yeah, we've kept Dags up.
But thank you guys.
I think he's got to get up with the little kid in the morning.
Oh, yeah, true.
I'm fine. He normally wakes up. I've been waking up before my alarm. So I'm up at like 5 most days, which kills me. But
well, so have I. But it turns out that my alarm is not a clock. Now my alarm is a dog. So I let the dogs out, and then I go make my wife some coffee, and then I feed the dogs, and then I put the dogs out, bring the dogs in, and then I put the dogs back to bed, and then I go for a walk. This is what you got to look forward to when you're 50, Dax. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I had a great time. You guys were great. Thanks for the content.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll see you.
See you
Love
later.
y'all. Bye.
see it.
Love you, buddy. Talk to you later.
So hot here in California.
It's all you, man. You're bringing the heat to California.
I don't want to bring the heat. I just want to be somewhere nice and cool right now. Yeah. I mean, I could bear the weather, 105, 107 degree weather, but it's just a lot of it right now.
Well, grab yourself a pumpkin spice latte and let me tell
Gross.
you.
No, that's disgusting. Do you like the pumpkin spice stuff?
Yeah, I do. And here's the reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fat and I like to eat.
That should have been my reason also, but for some reason I don't like the pumpkin spice stuff. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. I don't hate it. I just don't prefer it. I'll choose something else, but I'm more of a gingerbread kind of guy. Gingerbread flavor, which kind of tastes the same as the pumpkin spice to me, but it has a little bit more bite to it. Could be the ginger. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, girls seem to dig it, so hooray.
I was going to say, grab yourself a pumpkin spice latte and go out for a walk early in the morning. Janet and I have been walking every morning. And this morning, yesterday morning, like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning before the sun comes up, it actually feels really cool. Even here in Florida, also known as hell.
Actually, I take my walks at 4 a.m. during my second break at work, and it's still pretty warm. It's like in the 70s or something, but it feels great. You know, I'm always like I feel better after I take my morning walk. It's like a 30-minute break, so I walk for about a mile around the campus, and yeah, I feel good afterwards. I mean, sometimes a little sweaty, but it's all right. So yeah, that's when I do my walks. I'm trying to get back in shape, some sort of shape, not roundish per se, but
Well,
something other than round.
We're going to get you in ring shape, my friend.
Oh no.
Oh.
Ring shape like
Oh,
blue
yeah.
meanie? Like what kind of ring shape? Like blue meanie ring shape or Kevin Owens ring shape or what?
I'll take Kevin Owens for you, man.
Actually, I would too. He's
Yeah.
in better shape than I am.
Yeah.
So is Dusty Rhodes.
Oh man, the Dusty.
Yeah, I can't do a Dusty impression. Don't ask me to do one.
Oh, speaking of impressions,
Mm-hmm.
one of our favorite people in the entire world, Matt Crowder. We're going to have a special segment coming up with that guy. I'm not going to spoil it, but it will feature his impressions. I know I didn't tell you about it, but we don't talk very often because you're always so damn busy. However, maybe I will tell you as soon as we're off the air, which, by the way, we're out of time.
Okay, good one. I wasn't expecting that.
So next week on Broken Kayfabe, the unofficial after show of Breaking Kayfabe with Baljan and Barry. Hey, by the way, if you don't listen to Breaking Kayfabe with Baljan and Barry, how the heck did you find us? Number two, please go listen to Breaking Kayfabe. They are much, much more professional. And if you want to know, well, damn, why aren't you riding their coattails? It's because of their wonderful Facebook group, the Breaking Kayfabe with Baljan Barry Facebook group. Mm-hmm. That's the reason that we do it. That's how we all met, and that is what we call the brothership. So on this podcast, we feature conversations that either Ariel or myself have with members of the brothership. So go give Breaking Kayfabe with Baljan Barry a listen. Much better than us. They talk about sports, movies, TV, wrestling, and go give them a listen.
Yeah, and is there something going on in November?
There is a wonderful CWF Legends Fanfest, November the 5th, 2022 in Lutz, Florida. There is on the website Eventbrite. You can go there, and that's EVENTBRITE. You can type in CWF Legends Fanfest into your Google, and you will find it. You can buy tickets. There's 3 different tiers. You want the Ultra ticket because it is the best one that has all of the special events of that day. So you get a cup of coffee with a legend, you get dinner with a legend with a 2-hour Q&A, and then you will have an after party that is an hour long. But actually, the shenanigans don't stop there. A lot of the guys that are in the group get there Thursday, Friday, and they're there Thursday, Friday. So that's 2 days before the event. And then they leave on Sunday or Monday, well after the event. So a lot of shenanigans, a lot of fun, a lot of great conversations, a lot of hugs. You should come and be a part of the CWF Legends Fan Fest. Awesome Legends, Magnum TA. Help me out. I don't have off the top of my head. Joe Malenko.
Yes. Oh my gosh, who?
Garvin.
Jimmy Garvin just announced, right, or recently?
Just announced. He does not make a whole lot of appearances, but he will be there. And my understanding is, my man Jimmy is he flies into the area here, but he lives in the Bahamas, I think. Somewhere over there. Let's see, who else do we have?
We got Dory Funk Jr.,
Bill Apter,
Chris Markoff, Scott McGee, Robert Fuller also as well.
There we go. Thank you for saving this damn show. That is my fault for sleeping. I'll tell you, Chris Markoff, I've talked about the match that I remember seeing him in. I did not realize it was him at the time because he was under as the Russians. I remember them as the Russians. I was 73. I was 8 years old. And yes, I was that young, 8 years old. And I remember Johnny Weaver and Jay Youngblood taking on the Russians. I still remember the finish to the match. I'll probably say it 5 times. And I was only 8 years old. It was at the Reeves Community Center in Mount Airy, North Carolina, where I grew up. You're welcome, Mount Airy, for the plug.
I love how you go on about not remembering things, but then you remember this.
Right. I have the worst memory, but I just remember the dumbest, most useless, most random things. I remember the finish. Johnny Weaver had one of the Russians and the front face lock. Jay Youngblood got on the top rope, dove over both competitors, and sunset flipped the Russian, getting the 1, 2, 3.
Wow. Was that televised?
No, it was not. Reeves Community Center, Mount Airy, North Carolina, is a small, podunk little town. Probably back then had less than 10,000 people in the county.
Wow, that's a small town.
Yeah, nobody wants to live there. I mean, and now, I won't go into details about now, but there's a bunch of meth heads. Nobody,
right.
You know, a lot of people don't work. There's no economy.
Okay.
So, Ariel, thank you so much for putting up with me. I appreciate it. After I click this record button and we start recording, I'll tell you my idea for Matt Crowder, because he is an awesome guy and he has some great impressions.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
Awesome. All right. Next week we have coming up, I'm going to let everybody know about this so you'll all be excited and be here with bated breath listening. We have Michael Herrick, William Meriwether, but this time joined by the podcast legend himself, Chris Saha.
Ooh. Damn, really? No, just kidding.
Man.
No. I hope he makes it this time.
Well, you'll hear him on there. As soon as we got on the call, he says, who are we going to bury this week? Hey, based on your response, next time I talk to him, he might be burying you.
Fine. I'm up for it. I could bury him back.
Oh, man. Oh, it sounds like an Undertaker match.
Oh, buried alive. It's a buried alive match, huh? An online buried alive match? I'm down.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Ariel, for giving me your time. And Ariel, don't go anywhere, and I'll tell you the great news we have coming up. Ariel, say bye to the people.
Bye, people.
Bye.